إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد صلاة دائمة مقبولة تعدي بها أن حقه العظيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين خوف اعظم بمنے بے سر و ساما مدد قبلہ دی مدد کعبہ ایما مدد قادری نعرائے خوف اعظم اذنم بند شیخ حضرت احمد علی اذنم سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خاص نواز مصطفی سرکار اعلیٰ حضرت نواز یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا حاضر نواز جن ناموں سے رسالت کا ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ حاضر نواز حامل فیض رضا مصطفیٰ امدادکم صلی اللہ علیہ نبی وآلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاۃ و سلام علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا قریبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وعلی آلہ واصحابہ یا رحمۃ للعالمین. All praise is due to Almighty Allah. Darud and salam upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation, Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. His blessings and salutations upon the Anbiya Ikram and Ahli Ithar, Sahaba Ikram, Khulafa Rashidin, Tabi'in, Tabi' Tabi'in, A'imma Mujtahideen, Awliya Ikrameen, and all those who follow the path until the last day. We thank Almighty Allah for His infinite mercy and to the wasila of Rasul Akram and the Mujassam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for calling us the opportunity to congregate for Salatul JUMMAH and to participate in most exalted court. Before continuing, let us all direct our thoughts and our hearts and minds towards the holy and the sanctified court of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and please let us together recite the Sharif. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina wa nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammadin salatan daimatan maqbulatan ta'addi biha min qawlin. Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah and the mercy of the beloved Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, we are very fast approaching the holy month of Ramadan. And the arrival of Ramadan Mubarak is imminent, it will come, and I say this every year, that Ramadan will definitely come by the will of Allah, but how many of us will remain to see it? There is no guarantee. Nobody has any certificate or guarantee that he will get the blessings of the month of Ramadan this year, or he will be alive when the month of Ramadan comes. So, it is the ma'amul and it is the manner of the world that before something important or special happens, everybody makes preparations. If you are about to go on a journey, you don't start packing your bag as you are about to leave for the airport. You will do this long before. You will pack your bags. You will buy whatever necessary medication you need. You will get whatever is required to the place that you are going. Why? Because you are about to go to some journey, or you are about to go for some good Mubarak act. Like in Ramadan Sharif, a lot of people go for Umrah. They are making planning before. You don't go and decide on the day that you're traveling, I'm going to try and buy my ticket. Unless there are some who do it. Or I'm going to book a place where I'm going to stay. You're going to do it beforehand. And indeed, to make Umrah in Ramadan is very blessed. Because the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the one who makes Umrah in Ramadan, it is like he has made Hajj in my company. So it is a very great blessing as well. So talking about preparation. So a man makes preparation for everything beforehand. When some important occasion comes, your child is going to get married, you start preparing from beforehand. You make the arrangements, you do bookings, you do all of these things beforehand. Why? You're preparing so that you have a smooth function. You're preparing so that you have a smooth journey. Even though you don't know that whether you will ever get to do that. But you are prepared. Likewise, without comparison, the holy month of Ramadan is around the corner. We should have started preparing already. And when I talk about preparing, I'm not talking about only making the Samoosas and the Bhajias and making all the pies and putting them in the fridge. Yes, that is your preparation of your home home. The preparation that I'm talking about is spiritually training the heart before the month of Ramadan comes. And this is very important. And that is why Allah has given you Rajab and Shaban before that. These two Mubarak months are the trials for the final. This is the training session. When a student writes Masjid, first they do trials. Then they have the final. Whatever weakness you find in the trials, you remove it before the final comes. Alright? So these months are the trials. And this Shaban month, only few days are left for this trial month. You and I need to ask ourselves the question, what have we benefited from these months of trial? What benefit have we done? How have we changed our hearts? How much preparation have we made for Ramadan already spiritually? These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. If you have not, then you're going to find that month to be difficult. Then even though shaitan is shackled and bound and locked and chained, you're going to do his job for you. Why? Because you didn't train yourself before that. Even though Ramadan comes to purify you, it comes to cleanse you, it comes to make you a better person, but it also depends on you whether you want that or not. You must understand, and I'm saying this before Ramadan comes, so that we all remember that a lot of times it happens, and we are seeing this so common over the last few years, that the month of Ramadan comes, and you cannot, before when Ramadan came, when you looked on the street, I could make a difference that these are the Muslims. Today it is difficult. Do you know why? Because you don't mind your wife or your daughter dressing like the kuffar even in Ramadan. Any other time is not allowed. But you don't mind it even in Ramadan. Your television, as is haram any other time, stays on more in that month now. Everything that we do, because it's just about staying hungry from the morning to the evening. It's just about not eating from the morning to the evening. That's what fasting is about. No, my brothers, that is not what fasting is about. If it is about staying hungry from the morning to the evening and it's called fasting, then the Muslims of Palestine are fasting for the last few months already. Then they are fasting already. Because they are staying hungry for more than a day at a time. Okay? Those that are going through famine in Ethiopia and other places are fasting already. It's not about just staying hungry. It's not about just making sahri and iftar and not eating in between. It is about purifying your heart. It is about making yourself a better Muslim. It is about remembering that this is the time when Allah is sent for you to purify and cleanse you. And I'm telling you all this, and I'm telling myself all this before this month comes. Okay? When the month of Ramadan comes, then we start to think what we're going to do. Think before what we're going to do. And why I'm telling you this? Because we don't know if we're going to see. And إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. The beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the reward of your action is based on your intention. But bear in mind, this is for jaiz work. This is for permissible things. Don't go do haram and say my intention was pure. That's why I went to the gambling place. Because I wanted to use that money for good thing. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Then that is close to kufr. Because you are mocking the command of Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, for guna. So in this case, you have to ask yourself the question that before this holy month of Ramadan comes, what have I made niyat to do? What have I planned already that when Ramadan comes, no, I'll just only make this plan that I'm going to go on Sunday and pick up halim. Only make this plan that I'm going to make sure that the wife gives so many samosa for this and so many bhajia for this. This is what I planned. What was your niyat? What have we made intention already before Ramadan comes? Have we at least made intention that this year at least I'll try and read one time Quran Sharif when Ramadan comes? This year I won't miss any Tarawih Salah. Not only read for 10 days and then run away. And then come on the night to see whether the moon was seen. And that night the ones who didn't keep the whole month make the most of month. Or don't read the whole year, the whole Tarawih will make the most of month. Why waiting for Ramadan to finish? I'm telling you this beforehand. Is this, what niyat have you made? What have you intended before the month of Ramadan comes? Have you intended that I will make sure in the month of Ramadan, even though I've been a lazy fool, sorry for my language, and not visited the graves of my mother and father the whole year, at least in Ramadan I'll try and visit a few times. So the language is there because of, it's sad that youngsters go to the Qabristan and they stand at the gate to make dua because they can't remember where their father's grave is. They can't remember where their mother's grave is. This month of Ramadan that is coming, again, is not about just staying hungry. This is Allah's test for you. It is about the piety that you display in this month. It's about the fasting of the eyes. You keeping, say I'm fasting during the day, but sitting the whole day on your gate. Sitting the whole day and making dhamal on social media. Is this what Ramadan is about? The whole year we spend thousands and thousands of rands. And I'm being blunt about this. How much do you spend on a week, in a week on your cigarettes? Those of us who smoke. Well, I don't, but those, I used to, those that don't, that alhamdulillah, 15 years I've thrown that the bin also. But those of us that do, how much do you spend in a week and a month? How much do we spend going out and eating? How much do we spend doing everything else? And how much do we spend to feed one gharib in Ramadan? Make iftar for one poor man in Ramadan. With how much of love do I put my hand into my pockets or into my bag or into my bank account and say that I'm going to pay my zakat? Before Ramadan I start planning that I'm going to do this. Why I'm telling you to make these niyats before is because I don't know if I'm going to see Ramadan. You don't know if you're going to see Ramadan. But if you make the niyat before and you die before that, you will get the sawab for that entire month of Ramadan. A man who made intention to go for Hajj and he dies on the way, he becomes the Hajj, he gets the sawab of Hajj. And not only for that year, he gets the sawab for the rest of his life every time the time of Hajj comes. Likewise, if you look at that narration, then Allah's mercy is abundant, there's no count. It's limitless, boundless. You make pure intentions before Ramadan. Because of your niyat, Allah will give you the barakat to do those things. This is very important to think about. It's important. And you must remember, always remember this. Today I'm not giving you any narrations and lengthy waqiyas. I'm telling you something that is reality, that we need to wake up about. Do you know when you make intention to do a good deed, okay? Somebody intended that I'm going to, inshaAllah, now don't do this and think that I'm making the intention just to act so that I get it. You can't act when it comes to Allah. Allah knows the condition of your heart. Okay? Allah knows the condition of our heart. And our Nabi knows the condition of our hearts. And by the hukum of Allah and His Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our House Pak also knows the condition of your heart. Awliya know the condition of your heart. Your Kamil Sheikh knows the condition of your heart. But it is not compared to Allah because Allah knows by Himself. And everybody else knows because of that which Allah gave them to know. Okay? But if a man makes intention that I am going to read one Quran this year at least, one time at least, I'm going to recite the Holy Quran, I'm going to he makes this year. Even before he recited, he has got the sawab of one Quran recitation. He already got the sawab and the barakat. When he recites, he'll get further and whatever Allah wills him to get. You made niyat before Ramadan come, I'm going to do this good thing. Before you even did it, the angels have written it down for you. And when you do it, you're getting another sawab or whatever Allah wills for you. So think about it. The holy month of Ramadan is at our doorstep. And Monday, after Maghrib, is what? The 29th. So we're going to go out and look for the moon. What are you all going to do? We're going to look for the moon. Everybody. Wherever you are, go out and look for the moon. Okay? This is a grand sunnah of the beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and it is wajib in this month. You will go out and search for the moon. Right? You will search for the moon, And on the 29th, right? You will go out and you search for the moon. And when you search on the 29th for the moon, you will look at the sky where towards the direction where the sun sets. Now, if you went and looked for the moon, you went with the intention to follow the sunnah. It is a time when people are not following, very few. Because you went and followed in a time when people are not following, what you got? You got the sawab of 100 shaheeds. Subhanallah, subhanallah. 100 shaheeds sawab. Who don't want 100 shaheeds sawab? It's not that we'll wait for the 29th. Not that we're going to wait for the 29th. And while waiting for the 29th, what's going to happen? We'll wait for Cape Town to phone and tell. Oh, nowadays, those is finished also. People are looking from the other corner of the world. This is not in Shariah. There's nothing to do with Allah's deen. The Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, see the moon and commence fasting, and see the moon and end. He didn't say wait for this and wait for that. And people say, no, we tried to make it easy. How can you make it easier than what is the Nabi's word? There is nothing easier than what Allah's Nabi told you. That is the easiest. And what he said, if you don't see, then complete the counting of 30. Finish, how easy it is. But we want to break the skies and bring everything out. The people don't break so much before Ramadan, they break more for Eid. Okay? But the point that is to be made, on the 29th, go out and look for the sight moon. Follow the grand sunnah of Rasulullah and get the barakat of citing these 5 wajib months aside. It's why citing these 5 good months. Make the effort to see the moon. And if you do it, your children will also do it. You will create a generation that is having awareness of the sunnah of the beloved Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in a time when the sunnah is diminishing amongst the people. So make an effort. Go and tell your family, we're going to stand outside our house and look for the moon. And make sure you're looking in the right direction. Don't look at the opposite side and say that I didn't see it. Make the effort. People say that the moon we don't get to see. It's because so few people try to look. Look, the more the eyes on the sky, the better. Okay? Make the effort. And if it's not seen, we will do one day later. We'll follow what the Shariah says. Always remember, don't follow your tabiyyat. Don't follow your nafs. Follow what Allah and His Rasul said. That is success for us. So, sight the moon, make the effort, and welcome the month of Ramadan, but make the pure niyats from now. Make the pure niyats. If you've not started, start right now in your heart. You know what is niyat? Niyat for the Hanafi madhab is not necessarily that which is said with the tongue, but that which is intended in the heart. And when you say it with your tongue, then it becomes a greater blessing. Okay? So intend it in your heart. You're sitting now, intend in your heart that I will try to read one Quran this year for Ramadan. I will make sure I will try and go to the qabr of my parents and my grandparents. I will try to help at least one Muslim to make one iftar in the month of Ramadan. I will do these things, make these intentions. The kuffar who have nothing, they make all big resolutions, all bekar ones. Why shouldn't we make these great resolutions? Why shouldn't we make these pure intentions which are beneficial to us here and in the hereafter? Remember that when this month will come, and if Allah wills and we get the blessing, then there's no guarantee how many days each of us going to get. There's no guarantee that you set for Sahari and you're going to get iftar that day. So spend every day that is coming like it's the last. Every time in all your good deeds, every time you stand for Salah, you're standing for Jummah today, when you pick up your hand and you say Allahu Akbar, your heart must tell you that probably this is the last time you're going to do this. Then see with what feeling you'll read that namaz. See with how much jazba you'll read that namaz. See how suddenly, while hearing the recitation of the Quran, or going ruku and sujood, automatically tears will come into your eyes. You don't know how it is happening. Why? Because you stood with that pure intention for the ibadat of Almighty Allah. But you're standing there just because I want to quickly finish, turn salam and run from the masjid because I got one customer waiting, I need to make 10,000. Then you're making a big mistake. Then you're not going to get the barakat of standing. You're only fulfilling an obligation and you're going away. Okay? It's like a person making wudu. He makes wudu, he doesn't say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. His wudu is done, he has wudu, but he never gets no sawab for making wudu. Nothing. How many people say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim? How many of us now even remember to say Bismillah before we eat? Why? Because if you're so busy with your eyes on the phone, you don't know what you said and what you didn't do, and your food is going in the mouth. Making iftar too like that. Making sahri too like that. This thing the beloved Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explained has been said. How long ago we've heard that came in the hadith in Mubarak close to Qiyamah that fitna will seep into your home even though your doors and your windows will be closed. There's it. This is it. It's seeping into your homes your own child is sitting next to you, your wife is sitting next to you, your husband is sitting next to you, each one doesn't know what fitna the other is doing on. Am I right or am I wrong? So are we not going to change this? Do we not want to make ourselves better? Do we not want, a person is saying, I'm reading Durud Sharif but he's busy on the phone, on social media. Kya par rahe? Where's your attention? Is your attention on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When last have you read Durud and put your heart and your soul knowing and feeling that my Nabi is listening to me right now? Subhanallah, Subhanallah. And you want to know why I don't taste the sweetness? This is why. Okay? So this month is coming, take the full barakat of it and start preparing for now. You've got a few days before that month comes. Make pure intention, prepare for the month before it comes. And when it comes, welcome it. Welcome that month like a long lost child that you have been waiting to come into your arms. And more than that, like someone who you love so dearly and you have never seen for ages and they are about to suddenly find them in front of you. More than that, welcome the month of Ramadan. And see how Ramadan will embrace you. You embrace Ramadan, Ramadan will embrace you. But if you become distant, the month will also be there, but it will be distant. Allah keep us with iman. Let us live the world with iman. Those who are either Dagnan, Mustafa, Cassim, said AALA. Those that passed away now, Allah is Lord, in Jannah Ma'in. Yunus Bhai just told me, I think his nephew, Muhammad Sahib, is ill, little 10-year-old child that is critically ill. So we're making special dua that Allah grants the child. Shifa Imam said, special dua for ZINDA, special dua for all the others who have asked me to make dua for them, and whether I remember or not, all those that have passed away now, Allah is Lord, in Jannah Ma'in. And without forgetting dua for the Muslim Sunni of Palestine, Allah have mercy upon all them, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow them to be at least free for these days of Ramadan that are coming, so that they can keep their Raza and be protected from all the stigma that is happening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.